Hello, everyone. This is Biakna the Red with the Dwarven Discussion Podcast. A little bit late, but you know what? Sometimes in the long haul, some of the cargo gets a little bit late. And that's what happened this time. But you know what? We're here now, and we've got a new podcast. Today, specifically, we're going to be talking about American Truck Simulator. With me, as always, is the... Yeah, there he is. The wonderful Tanalathon. My, truck drivers have co-pilots? Who's like the guy that like drives with them sometimes? It's not co-pilot, because they're not piloting a plane. What would that be?
What would that be? That's the, Shit, I know I can see it, but I can't think of the word.
The Good Buddy 10-4, maybe?
I don't think that's it.
We're gonna say that's it. Welcome back, Tana. Are you excited for another podcast?
I am. However, I have not put in as many hours nearly as you have in this game, but
it's in the blood.
Okay.
It's in the blood. My dad was a truck driver. My grandfather was a truck driver.
I cannot say the same thing. My dad was an engineer, and my grandpa was... I don't actually know.
Well, I mean, you could say the same thing.
He delivered ice for a while. Does that count?
Well, I mean, yeah, sure, why not? We're all truck drivers deep down on the inside.
We all like to explore the vast, and I occasionally like to just get in my car and drive around for a bit because I like to get the hell out. But that has nothing to do with deliveries. This does.
Absolutely. And really, you know, I don't know where I was going with this, but again, welcome everyone to the... Don't laugh at me, okay? I'm trying.
It's
look,
the cameras. It's the face cams. We're doing something different this time, and it's making both of us all a little bit nervous.
A little bit, yeah.
You're definitely going to be able to see the edits a little bit easier.
We don't edit anything in this show.
No, not at all. I totally didn't have over 700 edits last time because the audio did not sync up.
You know, I don't know how you borked Goldwave, but you did it. You know, I don't really expect that this time.
Hope not. We're trying something different.
So, the main topic today is going to be American Truck Simulator. With that said, though, and I haven't told Tana this, so it's a surprise to him.
Uh-oh.
I'm thinking that the format might change up a little bit. I want to start out, before we actually get into the main topic at hand, going over what we have been doing recently. I want to talk about the channel as a whole for a moment. Many of you might realize... it's pretty obvious. We've actually become a lot more active as of late. We're producing a lot more videos. I started a series on Stardew Valley, which I'm going to put a link in the top right corner. I get the top right corner. You can have the top left corner, Tana.
Yeah, it's the little, like, eye bar thing that pops up over there, isn't it?
Yeah, the eye bar. Yeah, no. Editor Björkna, I don't know what that is.
Yes, also, Mr. Björknar is doing the editing on the podcasts now, since I have kind of a handful editing something else that was supposed to be out earlier, but didn't because there was a difficulty moving the data from where he is to where I am, unfortunately. So, hopefully that'll be sorted out tonight.
I think it's going to be a real treat.
It's going to be fun, and we're going to be doing that a lot more often, now that we have the whole file transfer thing situated. I have also started recording a couple things, and we're going to have multiple gameplay series going on at the same time, hopefully.
Yep, that's...
Some long, some short.
That is definitely the plan. And I'm going to be making a video on my current channel. I had a YouTube channel of my own, Bjarkna the Red. I had planned to work on that a little bit since a long time ago we had started Dwarven Discussions, and it kind of got away from us. So I had started doing some stuff on my own. We've now revitalized Dwarven Discussions, so I'm planning on shutting my channel down. I'm going to bring those videos over. I'm going to actually re-edit them to be more appropriate to Dwarven Discussions. And so I've got several series I'm bringing over, including a World of Warcraft Let's Play, where I play a hunter in Warlords of Draenor by play melee, before that's even an actual thing. So that's a series I've got going on. Primarily the focus is on Stardew Valley right now. I want to make sure that the podcast, which is what the channel was built on originally, remain weekly. So hopefully we can get the schedule nailed down, make sure we get this out weekly. We've actually got a multiplayer series coming out on Minecraft patch 1.9, which I am super excited for. We had a lot of fun with that.
Yes.
And then I think that's all on like my side / the group side of things. You want to like let them know what's going on with you?
I just picked up a game called Factorio, and I am having a blast with it. So I'm probably going to do some Let's Plays on that, because the entire objective goes from starting off raw into sending a satellite into space, and that actually takes quite a while. And I think I could have a lot of fun with that on camera.
That will be awesome to see. You know, it'll be good once we get all this done. We're really making a huge push to get Dwarven Discussions up and running, turning it into a full-on channel instead of just a once in a while, maybe we've got a podcast out. Maybe.
Yeah, that needs to change. We need to fix that. But what can you do?
Yeah.
When life gets in the way, you just kind of work around it.
Yeah, you know, life happens. It's to be expected. Yeah, so going into that, I just want to take a little bit of time, talk about the games we've been playing recently. So since the last podcast, we actually picked up a game called Windward, which we're going to be doing a podcast on next week as the primary topic. Oh my gosh, that game's fun. That game's so fun.
That game is ridiculously fun, and there's a surprising amount of stuff to do in that game that you wouldn't think you'd be able to do, and the multiplayer on it is flawless. Perfect.
It is really good. Also, I heard a gong from your side of things, which probably isn't getting recorded, but I hope everything's okay over there.
No, I think I just...
Did you release the Kraken?
No, I just hit my knee on the desk.
Good
Picked it up on
job.
the microphone really, really loudly.
Happens.
Yep.
I've played a lot of ATS over that week-long period as well as Stardew Valley, which has really consumed my life. I'd probably have even more progress. I'm still in spring, okay? I'm still in spring, like my first spring, because I'm literally recording everything, so...
Yep, Bjarkna is recording from start to finish, and I don't know how he does it, because I picked up the game and just plowed straight through the first year.
Yep, and in fact, Zach, my roommate, actually started playing this as well, and he's restarted his game like 6 times because he's a perfectionist, and he's like, you know, I messed up, I didn't get my maximum yield. So guess what? I'm going to restart the entire game. It's like, that's a little hardcore, even for me.
Yeah, I don't think I would... I can't do that. Like, if I fuck up, I fuck up. But if, like... I know I could have made more money on that first year than I did, because I didn't know what I know now. And yeah, now I have data to let me know what I should plant every year.
Yeah, no, it's definitely... Okay, gosh, I'm trying not to go too far deep. I want to start up, with what we've been doing. But there's one thing I'd like to say about Stardew Valley before we get off the topic, and that's the game improves a lot of the issues that I personally felt the Harvest Moon series had. A couple of the issues in specifically, which I'm eventually going to do a full-on review of Stardew Valley. Like, once I've gotten through at least a full year, then I can give, like, my full-on review. But one of the things I've noticed is that, unlike, say, did I say Minecraft? I hope not. But unlike Harvest Moon, it's a lot more forgiving. One is that in Harvest Moon, like, especially in Harvest Moon 64, to do a perfect run, you basically, like, had to fill each day perfectly. You had to do an exact route to get a perfect run in Harvest Moon 64. With this game, though, with Stardew Valley, I don't feel like there's no end game. There's no end goal. Like in most of Harvest Moons, it's like, okay, you've got like 3 years, get married, fully upgrade your farm, get livestock, get this, get that. And then after those years, you're going to get graded. You can keep playing after that for as long as you want, but after that period, you're going to get graded on how well you did. You either fail or you pass. And I did a thumbs up for the fail. In Stardew Valley, it doesn't seem like there's that restriction. It's more like, hey, events are always going on. If you miss something, it's not critical. You're not going to miss out on something you'll never get to do because you did one thing differently. Like, there's definitely branching paths in the game, but it's not like Harvest Moon where it's like, hey, you can't do what you want. You have to do everything by this set specific standard, otherwise you just screwed over your entire game. You got to start over.
So what happened to this being about ATS?
Hey, you know what? Like I said, didn't want to make the whole podcast about this. We're only like 18 minutes in right now. I don't even know. Ed or Bjukna, put up how long we're in.
Like 13, yeah.
Yeah.
But we have like an entire podcast for that next week, so,
We're doing Stardew Valley next week or Windward next week?
Oh yeah, Windward. Whatever. I see cuts. I foresee cuts.
Whatever. Whatever happens.
I'm getting confused.
It's all good.
Been
Try to keep it somewhat
awake far
loose.
too long.
Did you get coffee? Please tell me you got coffee. If you're running out on coffee, go get coffee.
I got caffeinated tea. I am okay.
Ed or Bjukna, throw a coffee pot at him.
Replace my tea mug with coffee. There you go.
Okay, that'll be a fun Ed. I'll love it.
Have fun with that.
Hey, I'll do it.
Have fun with that.
You just wait.
I know you do.
ATS. I guess since I just did a shit ton of talking, I'll let you go ahead and start ATS off.
Oh, good God, ATS. Okay, so this game kind of destroyed many, many lives, but in a good way, because it was just addicting. Addicting as hell. If you have ever played Euro Truck Simulator, it's pretty much exactly the same thing, just with different roads and different destinations. Now, not to say that's a bad thing, it's actually a really good thing, because one of the big things about the entire truck simulator genre there is that they just keep giving you more stuff to do. Euro Truck Simulator originally started as just a few towns and cities in Germany, and then expanded on to be the entire European area. Like France, of course, Germany, and then all the way up north, south, east, west. It includes pretty much everything in Europe. American Truck Simulator is planning to do the same thing, just in the US and possibly Canada. Getting all contiguous states, and I'm assuming they're just gonna like hop over Canada to Alaska, or just kind of do both at the same time. I'm not quite sure.
One thing to keep in mind...
my brain just went...
It's okay, I'll pick up for you. One one thing to keep in mind is the game's also got full-on modding capabilities built in from the very start, and actually a pretty big community, which I'll give a link for anyone who's interested who doesn't know about the modding community. I'll give a link to one of the bigger mod sites. There are people who are already adding in new roads, adding in new content. Like I've seen people who've already added in parts of Oregon, like from California and Nevada up into Oregon. I mean, the modding community is huge, and they do a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, it's just like, I wouldn't say it's as big as, like, say, the Fallout or Skyrim modding community, but it's pretty damn big, and they do a pretty impressive job with their edits, such as giving the game more accurate sounds. Oh my god, the horn in American Truck Simulator, especially on the new truck, the W900, which is, yeah, it kills me a little bit inside whenever I hear it.
Like, you hit the horn button, you're expecting nice big air horns, get the fuck out my way, you're in my way, move. No, you just get this, like, weep, 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 weep. It's like, what the hell kind of horn is that for a nice big Kenworth? Like, really? If you have ever driven along down the highway and, like, you've got a kid in the back and the kid's just going like, give me the horn, and they blare their horn at you, it's fucking loud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not in ATS.
Well,
the stock horn sounds like it came off like a toy bike.
And that's the problem, is like, I know like their first game was Euro Truck Simulator, and this is America, all right? And without going on a Trump-esque, like, America, great, crazy thing. Oh, God, I think I just opened up a can of worms in the political area. Without going on...
did.
I know. Rule number 1, don't mention religion, don't mention politics.
Too late.
America's about big, beefy, crazy powerhouses. Like, we're all about the big, we're all about the noisy. I mean... So it kills me a little bit when I, like, get the newest truck they add was the W900, which is, when you think American trucking, this is the truck that comes to mind. It's a very famous, well-known truck. It's loud. Like, it is a loud truck. Not like the newer trucks, which are a lot more quieter. It's a big, powerful, noisy truck. You got the dual exhaust. It's what you think of when you think of a truck. America's always been big, powerful, loud. American Truck Simulator, however, has like the same horns from Euro Truck Simulator, which just sounds like ee. And even like so many of the sound effects are so wrong in the game. Like the cop sound effects, those are really weird. For the longest time they patched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the longest time.
I'm not.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm not sure where they got that police siren sound from, because it just doesn't sound like a US siren. Like, if you just Google or, like, search YouTube for American police siren sound effect, you'll get what it sounds like here. They could have done that, but whatever they picked sounds off. Like, they used, I don't know, like, the fire engine sound siren for the police. It's just weird.
It's really weird. And like going back to the horn, like even okay, so like trucks have the air horns, you know, the arm pump that all the kids like to do, and then the good truck drivers will be like, okay, I'll indulge you, air horn, because it just sounds so awesome. It sounds powerful. Yeah. And even without the air horn, most trucks have a standard horn built in. They don't sound like that. Hell, even our cars' horns don't sound like that. That sounds like... I don't even know what that sounds like or where they got that from, but it sounds wrong.
It's... I seriously think they just brought in, like, one of their kids' bikes and just pumped the horn off of that, because that's what it sounds like.
It's...
pathetic.
It's disgraceful. It's not American trucks. It's not.
It really isn't. Hopefully they'll fix it, or like there will be a mod that fixes it, because that's just horrible.
There's there's definitely plenty of mods that do fix it, but still, it's like a matter of this is something that is kind of important because this is a truck driving simulator. The whole point behind it is that it is a simulator for American truck driving. And if you can't even get the trucks right, something's a little bit off.
Just a little bit, yeah.
With that said, though, while I am harping on the game, and I do it out of love, I enjoy the game. It's a fantastic game. I've pumped a good amount of hours into it. It's got a lot of pluses, too. But I'd like to weed through what's wrong with it first. And one of the things I'd like to talk about, which is actually something they fixed, is making a right turn on a red light. Because when the game first launched, you couldn't make a right turn on a red light, which is an American thing. You know, you stop and yield to oncoming traffic. If it's free, you can make a right turn on a red light. That's not something in Europe, so they made it so if you made a right turn on a red light, regardless of if you follow the rules or not, you got a ticket. And it's just like, okay, this is kind of bunk. But they patched that out. There's a lot of weird road rules that are in the game that don't really... here's a good example. Every left turn on a green light is a yield. Every single one. That's not really how it works over here. Like, if it's a yield on left turn, there's usually signs on the traffic light saying, you know, yield to oncoming traffic on green. There could be a time where you've got a blinking left turn light, which is basically a blinking yellow left turn light next to the green light, which is yield to oncoming traffic, then make a left turn. But in American Truck Simulator, every green light on left turns is a yield. And it makes some really annoying traffic circumstances.
A little bit, yeah. One of the things they need to fix is with the AI that just doesn't know how to handle stuff like that. Because if you've got, let's say you're coming off an off ramp off a highway, and you've got two NPC trucks both trying to turn left in cross directions, they'll get confused as to who's supposed to go forward, and they will sit there, just kind of both of them trying to turn left, but neither of them moving, and it just jams up traffic, and there's nothing you can do about it.
It is an annoyance. I'd say that's right up there with the other annoyance, which is freeways constantly going straight into lights. Like, you'll be on a freeway going like 65 or even maybe like 80s, 70s, like somewhere up around there. Next thing you know, you're all of a sudden at a stoplight in the middle of the freeway, which passes through a town. It's like, this seems a little bit backwards. It's a major annoyance because you're just like driving down the freeway, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, there's a stoplight here and a trail of traffic.
Yeah, there's no leading deceleration zone. It's just you go from 80, 55, or 80, 30. There's no like 80, 70, 60 slow down kind of leading into the town. There's also a lot of just not just, hey, you're in a town, it's, hey, you need to stop. Because you'll go downtown, and then completely lost where I was going with that. Motherfuck. I have it in my head, but I can't describe it.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting through the issues first, and then we'll bluster about what's good about the game. So, I mean, while you try to find that lost thought, probably in the darkest corners of the recesses of your mind,
another lack thing of caffeine all day.
I'm gonna give you a second coffee cup. In fact, I'm gonna stack a coffee cup on top of your teacup that I've edited to be a coffee cup from Starbucks.
Because driving for 6 hours kind of makes you go, eh.
Yeah. Another thing, since this is a simulator, this is why I'm judging it so hard, as to say, opposed to like a game that's not a simulator. Stop signs, or not stop signs, traffic signs, like speed limit signs. One, they only have speed limit signs that show the car speed limits, which can be very inaccurate at times. You could be going through a town and it's like, oh, okay, speed limit changes to 45. Why does the game still say that this is a 35? Because in America, we've got these cool little speed signs that on the top, it'll say the speed limit, or I'm probably getting this backwards, but it'll say a speed limit on one, and then like below it, it'll say the other one. So you know what the speed limit for trucks is, you know what the speed limit for cars is. None of those signs exist in this game. So thankfully your GPS is kind of like, oh hey, here's the speed limit for the area. But when you're driving, you're looking for a sign to be like, oh okay, I need to slow down because the sign's coming up. The game doesn't tell you, hey, you're entering a 35 zone soon. I know you're going 80 miles an hour right now, but guess what? In about, 300 feet, you're going to be in a 35 zone. And since the signs are like so far and few between, there's several times in the game when the speed limit will drop crazy amounts. Like you'll just be going, like I said, 80. Next thing you know, it's a 35 zone. There's no warning that it's going to be a 35 zone. And congratulations, you just got a speeding ticket because you blew through a 35 zone going 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, they have increased, they have added a delay between you entering the speed zone and giving you a ticket, giving you a chance to realize you need to slow down, and giving your truck an actual chance to slow down. Because it was when we were, at the time of when we recorded the race, none of these patches had gone through yet, so we were actually racing basically in the root of the issues, and there was a point where Björkna went from 80 to 30, just the zone went 80 to 30, and immediately he got a ticket. It didn't give him a chance to slow down. It didn't, like, the speed limit sign came into physical view, got to about the point where you could read it on the screen, ticket.
For a game about truck driving simulation, that's something that's not really acceptable in my opinion. Like truck driving simulator games are not super common. In fact, like the one I can think of before American Truck Simulator and before Euro Truck Simulator is 18 Wheels of Steel, which is really old.
I had that a long time ago.
Yeah, my dad had that game, and I enjoyed it. Things have come a long way since then. But like, since it's such a rare game, there's like no real standard. So it's like we kind of accept what comes to us. Whereas, like, say a new MMO comes out with so many on the market, we have a way to like say, okay, this is not a good MMO for these reasons. With a truck driver simulation game, I feel like people are a lot more lenient, when really we should be like going, hey, we want like an accurate simulation. Obviously, we're not anywhere close to getting games that are going to be like one-to-one simulations, but like we want some accuracy. And when you lack speed signs, so you're pretty much relying on your GPS and praying that please don't let there be a cop by, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to enter this town, I'm going to drop all the way to 30 from 80. I'm sure it's going to be completely random. Or, oh, hey, there's a patch of construction in the freeway. I can see it coming up. No sign saying, hey, speed limit's going to change. But the moment I get into there, it's going to be like, oh, yep, speed limit dropped. Oh, and what do you know? There's a cop right there.
Yeah. I will say the cops in this game are a lot more well-placed than the ones in the real world.
There's a lot of them, too.
Yeah, the ones in this game like to hide out at nice trap points, like, speed limit changes. The ones in real life just kind of hang out on the side of the highway thinking, yeah, I'll find somebody.
Yeah. And the cops are really stupid in this game. In fact, I'm going to put up some footage of me driving down the shoulder of the freeway going the wrong way. Like, going against the traffic. I will upload that clip of me literally just being like, hey, Hey, check it out. No one's gonna pull me over. Oh, hey, hello, cop. There you are. Oh, yeah, not gonna pull me over? Okay, I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. Don't worry about me.
I remember that. That was hilarious, actually.
It's broken. I mean,
A little bit.
I could
by
probably
a little bit, I mean a lot of it.
I could probably make my entire journeys on the wrong side of the road, and cops wouldn't give two shits because, like, I don't think the developers thought, hey, I wonder what happens if someone takes the wrong on-ramp and is going on the freeway against the grain of traffic.
That's a major ticket, by the way.
Yeah, that's a really big ticket. You're probably getting arrested for doing that. I don't even know what to say about that. There's so many flaws about the game, and yet I love it to death. Like, I've poured hours into that game, and it's really a zen experience. It's enjoying the scenery, relaxing. It's something just relaxing about the game. It's not like super exciting. Like, even Stardew Valley, like, the farming aspect's really relaxing, but then you get into the combat aspect and, like, the mines and fishing, whereas, like, with American Truck Simulator, it's really just, like, take it easy, enjoy the trip, enjoy the view, and then, like, built upon that is also the business aspect of the game, which is, you have your garage you start out with, you upgrade your garage, you start getting a fleet of trucks, and you start hiring drivers, they level up, they make you income. So it's like two games in one. You got, like, the truck driving simulation portion, and then you've got the business simulation portion, and it's a really relaxing game.
They meld well, too. Like, most games that try and mix two different genres like that just don't do it well. Either they lack on one, or they lack on the other, or they focus too much on both, but not enough at the same time. This one, they took Euro Truck Simulator, their expertise at making that, and then added on this extra thing that just gives it that extra oomph that it really needed to be unique comparatively. And it really did a good job. I like it. I like it a lot, and yes, the drivers at the beginning that you can hire suck, but they level up and get better, and they can actually make you more money than you ever could make yourself, which is kind of sad. But that's AI drivers for you.
Yeah, it's true. But it's just something that's like, there's a line of progression that a lot of games don't even have anymore, where it's like, starting out in the game is somewhat rough. Like, they've lowered the price of fines and whatnot. Are you okay?
Yeah, the clip that holds my chair from leaning back too far popped out.
Oh. You probably just reclined pretty far then, huh?
Let's see, this is where it's supposed to stop.
I mean, if we're going to have a lazy podcast, I can get on the bed and just lay down for the podcast.
I went to lean back to stretch, and it's just like, and you go back all the way. All right.
I don't even know what I was going to say. Thank you for distracting me, Tana.
Dunno.
Line of progression. That's what I was talking about. So, it has a line of progression that's actually, in my opinion, it starts out somewhat difficult. Especially if you never play a truck driving game and you're playing with mouse and keyboard. Expect a lot of tickets.
Oof, mouse and keyboard. This is definitely a game where you need something with digital controls, like an analog stick. Even though it says analog, it's actually like, a floating point where you can have off anywhere in the middle and then on. Yeah, keyboard just kind of goes, you're turning left or you're going straight. It doesn't have any kind of grading in that whatsoever, and you really need that when you're driving a truck like this.
Yeah,
especially when you're trying to do parking. Ooh, I don't even want to try and do that without a joystick or a wheel or something. And this fucking Mountain Dew bottle does not want to open.
Screw your Mountain Dew.
I need caffeine, and it doesn't want to give me caffeine.
Alright, Ed or Björkna, throw a Mountain Dew bottle on top of that coffee cup with the other coffee cup on top of it. Put a Mountain Dew ball on the top of that.
Yes.
So...
Here, I'll even give you a nice picture of my Mountain Dew bottle. There you go. Ta-da.
Okay, I'm gonna cut that out. I'm sure it won't look cheap or anything.
Not at all. And it's all glowy, too, because my camera.
It's got a good line of progression, because like I said, actually, going back real fast, yeah, keyboard, it sucks. I did it out of complete curiosity, and having to tap on the key when you're wanting to make a turn, like, oh, left, but not too hard left, it's really awkward, because you have to, like, tap, release, so you can't really get smooth turns. I heard it's possible to set up so, like, your mouse can turn for you, but given that you want the freedom of the camera, that makes an awkward situation.
Yeah, I tried it. It's not fun. It really is not fun. Because, one, it locks your camera where it's at. So you can't use it. You can't tie steering controls left and right, as well as camera controls left and right to your mouse. So you have to do something else for your camera controls. Not fun. And it's getting your steering wheels to go straight again with the mouse. Not going to happen. You're always going to sway one way or the other, which, I mean, kind of makes sense because you do that with real life, but it just makes this experience really, really difficult because you don't have feedback like you do in the real world. So getting it just right in the center, not going to happen.
Yeah, it's awkward. Yeah, but going back to the reason we brought that up is because starting out in the game, when you got like no money, it's easy to bury yourself into a mountain of debt.
Yes.
Especially,
God, yes.
Yeah, especially if you take a bank loan because you're like, oh, okay, cool, here's a whole bunch of money, I can get my own truck. Yeah, they're expecting you to pay that back in large sums each day. Pair that with if you're getting like a ton of tickets and crashes and repairs, and you got your own truck now, so you're paying for your own gas. If you're like just starting out and you're not the most skilled right off the bat, expect to be in the hole. Like, it's just, there's no way around it. I've known a couple players who've restarted a couple times just because they've dug themselves into a hole and it's like, well, I can't really get out. I'll start again, give it another try. I mean, once you've played the game for a while and you get a feel for the controls, it's like, okay, you know, I got this, but... Did you want to add something, or...?
Yeah, basically, so the way the debt system works in, or the loan system works in ATS is you take your loan, and instead of paying it, you know, a chunk at the end of the month, which I don't know anybody who would be able to pay this amount per day, let alone per month sometimes. Even with a large trucking company, you just kind of be like, what the fuck? You're taking out loans in, what is it, I think it's the 70,000, 150,000, and 400,000 mark. So you have those three options, and each one you have to pay back in differing amounts. I took out the lowest loan just so I could get my first truck, because you do make a lot more money with your own truck. Like, what were we comparing? I was making like 20 something a mile, and you were making like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
It was a huge difference. The problem with that is, if you calculate in the fact that you have to pay back $1,800 a day, you're actually making a lot less. A lot less. Because you're only able to get in, if you're lucky, 2 trips per day. And that can be anywhere between like $2,000 and $4,000. Yeah, so if you're spending, let's say you make a low day and you make $2,000, then you have to calculate in the amount of gas you spent on the truck, because now you have to pay your own gas. You also have to take into account that you may or may not have gotten a ticket, which at the time when we were recording that race, most tickets were about 500 to 1,000, which I think they lowered it down to, I think, 2 to 500 instead, which is a lot better, but still easily able to get you into a serious amount of debt. You make not a whole lot, even if you just, like, ding somebody's car, you're done. You just lost. You lost money on that trip. Mm-hmm. There's been quite a few times where I'll go 3 or 4 days without making any money, and I'll either stay roughly afloat or drop because, whoops, I hit a sign, or whoops, I dinged a car, or crap, I ran out of energy, I need to sleep. Well, ATS is kind of unforgiving when it comes to your deliveries. You need to sleep before every delivery, before even picking up the delivery, because they'll charge you for that too. So after every completed delivery, first thing you should do, find the nearest gas station, fill up, find the nearest rest station, rest, and then go hunting for a delivery. Because if you run out of energy and you start doing the whole yawning thing and you pass out and you don't make it the same day, there's a big chunk of your money gone, because there's a late fee every time you deliver late. And it can get to the point where even delivering 2 hours late will be $1,000 off your reward. And when you're looking at only about $2,000 to $3,000 as a reward, you just lost money on that trip.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It's a rough learning curve at the start, and it gets a lot easier as you go, especially once you start getting drivers who are basically making you free money. It gets to the point where eventually you'll, like, once you've unlocked enough garages and enough drivers, you'll be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a day easily, to the point where it's like you can pretty much do whatever you want. You could run into a cop just for shits and giggles, and it's not even going to scratch your income. But at the start, it's pretty tough, which I feel is a fair curve. It's a rough curve at the start, and the harder you work, it's going to get to a point where you're going to be so self-sufficient that it becomes super easy. Like, I feel like it's a rewarding curve. Something that...
Oh, yeah.
Something I can appreciate.
Yeah, it's definitely a decent learning curve where the majority of your mistakes are going to be so early in the game that even if you do have to restart, it's not punishing. And if you do make a major mistake later in the game, you'll have that safety net no matter what, because the game will make sure you have that safety net by then. I mean, the only way you could really, really, really screw yourself over like that is if you don't get drivers. If you want to do everything yourself without getting drivers, and you, like, buy a new car or you upgrade your garage for some odd reason, I don't know why you would upgrade your garage if you're not getting new drivers, but if you spend all your money and then go into debt, they won't let you take out a loan. So you have to be neutral or positive to get out a loan. And if you can't pay off your loan because you done screwed up your truck, or you can't afford a new one, or you can't afford repairs, there's no real way to get out of it. But, I mean, picking up the early loan is your choice. And if you're a decent enough driver to not get tickets, you can make a little bit more money than if you were doing just the contract work. But I like the way Björkna did it better. It just takes a little bit longer, but you're actually making more money. And the reason it takes a little bit longer is mainly out of pride. That's pretty much it. You get places quicker taking out the loans, but you make comparable money in the end because you're not paying, or because you're paying for more things.
It's a self-imposed hard mode. I did my run without ever taking a loan. I never took a loan from the bank, ever. I earned every single dollar on my playthrough. From my first playthrough, I never restarted. I went into debt slightly once because I got a ticket, and then I got back out of debt, and I haven't been in it since. But I never took a loan. I just earned everything from the start. I earned it without having to take a bank loan, and it feels good. I mean, it's harder and it's slower. It's definitely way slower. But, well, at least it feels slower.
Yeah.
It also feels really rewarding. And I actually had people criticizing me going, why didn't you take a loan? Why didn't you take a loan? Just take a loan. There's no reason not to take a loan. It's like, I know there's no reason not to take a loan. It's pride at this point. That's all it is I want to be able to say, I never had to take a bank loan. I earned every penny on my own up to my first truck. I earned every penny on my own up to getting my first garage upgrade. I earned every penny on my own getting my second truck, so on and so forth, until the point where eventually the money's going to be so overwhelmingly massive, especially with California and Nevada, with all those garages fully upgraded with full level 10 employees and trucks. You're going to be making such a crazy amount of money at that point that you're going to be pretty much set for every DLC they bring out.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next areas to come out. That's going to be so much fun. I want Vegas. I want Vegas so bad.
Yeah,
mainly because I want to drive my truck straight into the freaking casinos. Just be like, rah! Money!
Isn't Vegas already in the game?
Is it?
It's a lot more underwhelming than what the actual Vegas is.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Arizona's the next content update. We know that so far. We've also there are some screenshots out which I will put up some imagery. And so far the game is a lot of like deserty wastelands. The greenery that we have seen is kind of few and far between. In fact, what disappointed me the most is there's no redwood forest in California. That to me was kind of a letdown.
Yeah, you can't go north like you're going to Washington or anything and hit redwood. You just hit mountain. What does it stop at, like Eureka or something like that? I think Eureka is the northernmost in California, but I don't have the map up at the moment.
As much as I played that game, I don't know the location of all the cities off the top of my head. I think Eureka's in Nevada, isn't it?
No, it's in California. Oh, that picture is not helpful. Come on. View image. There we go. No, Truckee is the most northern, and that's far to east. So It would be Sacramento, San Rafael, and Truckee. It just kind of cuts off right there where you would normally go into Redwood, so you don't quite get it. They do have the road that is supposed to go north, but it's blocked off, so you can't actually go north.
Which, I mean, they'll unblock it when the new DLC comes out for that section up there. Now I'm having the brain farts. Maybe I need some caffeine.
Dun dun dun.
Dwarven Discussion Podcast brought to you by Mountain Dew. Not really.
How did you know I was taking a goddamn... Oh yeah, audio.
So, what was... Because I remember you had a horror story for one of the towns. I can't remember if it was Truckee or which town it was, but you're like, don't go to this town.
Oh, shit. Okay, map of Nevada... What town was that? Oh, I guess that is the... Yeah, so Redding and Eureka are the highest. That map was wrong. Fucking hell. Where was it? There's one further north of that. It's north of this. Okay, there might be a little bit of cutting here, because I'm fucking looking at the map.
I went to pull up an ATS map, and of course it brought up the first map being in Russian. Yeah, not English. No, bring up a map in Russian. So I can probably...
I think I found a full map. Jackpot. That's what it was.
Yeah, you hate that city.
Vent chat. There we go. Yeah, Jackpot. Jackpot can go fuck itself. Now, I'm not saying the real Jackpot. The real Jackpot's probably fine. I've never been there. But in American Truck Simulator, that town can go fuck itself. Like, with a 10-foot pole. It's horrible. Getting in there, I got... I almost sent myself in debt while having almost $90,000 to my name. I almost sent myself in debt just out of tickets in that town because there are so many different speed changes, and I got tickets for every single one of them, and all the drivers there were assholes. There were people cutting me off, so trying to stop a truck pulling a gigantic trailer of heaviness does not stop very well when cars pull out in front of you. I had this one was kind of my fault because I missed my turn, but I was trying to make a loop on a block because my original thing was go straight, turn right, turn left, that's where it was. Well, I missed my turn right because there was something there and I didn't notice it. So I went to go to the next right and then just loop around. The problem with that is all of the roads there are so fucking tiny that a trailer does not fit. So you get tickets for hitting signs because there's no way to turn in that town without hitting something. Like, the 2-lane roads there don't have anywhere for a trailer to turn, so there's no arcing curb. Okay. The post for the streetlights is directly on the corner. Like, I'll have to, like, draw this out for you so that Björkna can throw this up on the screen or something. On top of that, there's no fucking rest stop in Jackpot. There may be now, but when I was doing my whole hell thing in Jackpot, there was no rest stop. So I got there expecting there to be a rest stop, so when I dropped off my delivery, I would do exactly what I explained earlier. Find the nearest gas station, fill up, find the nearest rest station, and stop. There's a gas station. There was nowhere to rest. So I had to drive all the way back down to Elko to rest so I could pick up a thing. And on top of that, the reward for the thing driving in Jackpot was decent. Not that decent. Not like 70,000+ decent. Just avoid that town at all costs. It's horrible.
To our viewers or listeners in Jackpot, I just want to say that I do not share his bigoted viewpoints of your city. I think it's a lovely city, and please direct all hate to tanalathon@dwarvendiscussions.com.
Yeah, something like that. I will say something that I do like about Jackpot is that the developers of ATS did a wonderful job at actually replicating the town. They got everything from the entrance highway shrinking down accurately. They got the place where you actually drop off your trailer or pick up a new trailer is actually there in real life. Within like a couple, I think they shaved off 2 blocks, so it might be a couple blocks off, but it was actually there. There was a actual truck station there, because I looked it up on Google Maps, because one of the people in comms with me was like, oh, that's not how it works in Jackpot, that's not how the road works. So I'm like, yeah, it's actually pretty accurate. So they did a good job at representing it. I don't think the real Jackpot has all those issues, though, like the not having any proper truck curbs, or there probably wouldn't be a functioning truck station there.
Regardless, you don't like Jackpot.
Nope.
So
I will not take a mission that takes me there. Will not.
You've been blacklisted, Jackpot. So, with that said, we should probably get around to wrapping up on this podcast. Overall, if you had to say one feature about ATS that you like the most, that you would say is the most driving feature behind why you like that, what would that be?
Open roads.
Very blunt and straightforward.
I love that a lot of the gameplay is just you driving down an open road. Like, I have some beautiful, beautiful screenshots in this game of just a truck on a road going. Like, I'll actually grab some of those for you.
Thank you. I'd say that this is a Zen game to me. This is like the equivalent of a Zen garden or a bonsai tree to me. It's just something that's, I don't want to say tedious, just something that's simple and relaxing. Something you could put like some music on and just drive down the road, and it's not really too like high intensity. It's more of just like enjoying the trip. The trip is the journey. And I think that it's enjoyable for that aspect. So I guess it's the simplicity, monotony, and tedium of the game that makes it so enjoyable to me, is just because it's a Zen experience.
Yeah, it's very relaxing to drive in ATS once you get going between the cities. Inner city, it can get a little bit hectic because you're trying to figure out where the hell you're supposed to go, but while you're on the freeway or the highway going from one city to the next, especially if you have a long drive, like you pick up one of the longer routes available in the game right now, yeah, it's just relaxing. Just put on some music, go. I can't wait for more of the states to come out because I want longer drives. I want to go from California to fucking New York in one trip. They're gonna have to lift some of the time restrictions and let your character sleep a little bit. But it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
When the game gets to that point where enough states have been released that we can do a full-on cross-country drive, I'm making this promise right here, right now on this podcast, me and Tana. And it's going to be a long-ass drive. It's going to be a several-hour video.
Say that again.
Tana. And don't worry, I'll censor that out.
Thank you.
When I'm making this promise right now, when me and Tana-lathon, or excuse me, one more time, take 3, beep. When more of the states are out and we can do a full cross-country drive, me and Tana-lathon, I'm making this promise right now. In fact, I'm making the promise for him without his consent. We're going to do a full cross-country drive, which is going to be a several-hour-long video before editing. Who knows what it's going to be after editing, but we're going to do a full-on drive from one state to the other, or one side of the United States to the other side.
Yep, that sounds like a lot of fun, and I think that would be fun as a stream.
Oh yeah, definitely something that we could stream. Probably even get chat in at that point. It's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a while before we get there, though. Before that much content's out. But when it happens, that's something we're definitely gonna do.
It's going to be a long time before they get that much out.
Yeah, there's just no way around that. But with that said, I like what the game is right now. I'm looking forward to what it's going to be. It's going to be mind-blowingly massive when all the locations are out. I'm not one to give numerical ratings, letter ratings, or anything like that, but I'd say this game's definitely an enjoyable experience for those who like the monotonous, and not necessarily in a bad way, but who enjoy like a Zen-like experience. This game's being a simulator is more of an experience than like a full-blown game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. It's not like Roller Coaster Tycoon kind of simulator. It's actually a let's do this yourself kind of simulator.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that said, we got our closing thoughts out of the way. Definitely thank everyone for listening. Next week, because we're still going to debate it, just to make sure I don't want to set everything in too much of stone, we're either going to discuss Stardew Valley or we're going to discuss Windward. Who knows, we might discuss both. Who knows, we might discuss something completely different. We actually, eventually, one of our earlier podcasts was on Elder Scrolls Online. Eventually, we're going back to Tamriel.
Going back to Tamriel. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. So, I just want to thank everyone for listening again. My name is Björkna the Red. Thank you for listening to our podcast.
My name's Jonathan. Have fun trucking.